The Cursed Book. More than 60 forbidden stories that YouTube wouldn't let the channel publish. Link in the comments. Buy it now. Before stepping into the dimly lit hallway of that school, you'll receive a document one that's too thin for the gravity of its content. Read the rules before you become a teacher. It warns in chillingly precise language. Those rules are less a guide and more a cryptic list of do's and don'ts, framed by the flickering light of the ancient fluorescent bulbs. Each rule seems innocuous, almost mundane, but the air in the room feels heavier as you read, as if the shadows are watching, waiting. By the time you finish, you can't shake the feeling that you've stepped into a world where the rules are not just guidelines, but sacred decrees designed to protect you from the dark forces that linger just beyond the edges of understanding. The first rule on the list is simple. Never walk alone after dark. It seems like standard advice, but in the eerie silence of that school's corridors, it takes on a sinister edge. As night falls, the school transforms, its walls whispering secrets and shadows twisting into grotesque shapes. Following this rule isn't just a precaution. It's a desperate attempt to avoid the malevolent presence that roams the empty hallways. The rule exists not merely to guide, but to save those who are unaware of the lurking horrors that awaken when darkness descends. Rule number 2 reads, keep the windows shut at all times. It seems trivial, almost laughable in ordinary contexts, but within the confines of that school, it is anything but. The windows are old and cracked, their glass stained with the grime of decades. When you open them, a cold draught fills the room, carrying with it a faint, rancid smell of decay. More importantly, the school's grounds are rumored to be haunted, and opening the windows could invite something that should remain firmly outside. Don't enter the basement without permission, the third rule cautions. The basement is not just a storage space, it's a labyrinth of darkness where light rarely ventures. The air is thick and stagnant, filled with the damp smell of mildew and something far more sinister. The basement seems to breathe and pulse with an unearthly rhythm. You can hear faint echoes of voices and footsteps. Are they real, or are they figments of an overactive imagination? Following this rule might spare you from uncovering the horrific secrets that lie buried beneath the school. The fourth rule, never speak of what you see in the mirror, is one that chills you to the bone. The mirrors in that school are old and tarnished, their reflective surfaces warped and distorted. What you see in them is not always what is real. They might show glimpses of past horrors, or worse, reflect the monstrous entities that linger in the periphery of the human eye. To speak of them is to risk drawing attention to yourself from these dark entities that are best left unseen and undisturbed. According to the fifth rule, respect the locked doors. These doors, adorned with rusty chains and ancient padlocks, are scattered throughout the school. They are more than mere barriers. They are safeguards against whatever lies beyond. Opening them is not just a breach of protocol, it's an invitation to the dark forces that have been contained behind those doors. Each one hides secrets that should never be uncovered, and the consequences of violating this rule are said to be more terrifying than you could ever imagine. Rule 6 states, never stay past midnight. The school's atmosphere changes once the clock strikes 12. The air grows colder, the shadows lengthen, and the walls seem to close in. Strange noises fill the corridors, soft footsteps, distant whispers, and the occasional eerie laugh. Staying past midnight means you might encounter the school's restless spirits or worse. It's a time when the veil between the living and the dead thins, making it perilous for anyone who dares to stay. The seventh rule is deceptively simple. Avoid the north wing. On the surface, it seems like an odd restriction, but the north wing is avoided by all for a reason. It is colder there, and the atmosphere is thick with a palpable sense of dread. Rooms are said to be frozen in time, with remnants of past lives frozen in eerie displays. Shadows dart across the walls, and an unsettling feeling of being watched permeates the space. Those who have ventured into the north wing often report hearing whispers or feeling icy hands upon their shoulders. Never engage with the students after hours. The eighth rule warns. The students of that school have an unnerving ability to appear in the halls long after classes are over. They move silently, their eyes glowing faintly in the dark. They're not quite alive, not quite dead. They exist in a state of haunting limbo. Engaging with them might lead to a fate worse than death, as they could pull you into their spectral realm where time and reality no longer function as you know them. The air is stifling, and a sense of oppressive malevolence pervades the space. Old, forgotten things stir and whisper, and the very walls seem to pulse with an unsettling energy. There are rumors of strange occurrences and inexplicable phenomena, and the attic is said to be a nexus for the dark forces that influence the school. Rule 10 is one you'll only come to understand when it's too late. Don't question the administration. The administrators of that school are enigmatic figures, their true motives hidden behind stern facades and cryptic instructions. They seem to know more than they let on, and questioning their authority or decisions can bring about unforeseen and terrifying consequences. Their silence on certain matters often speaks louder than words, hinting at dark truths best left undiscovered. Keep all personal items locked away. The 11th rule insists the school is not a place where belongings are safe. Personal items can become conduits for malevolent forces. If left unattended, things go missing or become imbued with dark energy, their owners suffering from increasingly disturbing experiences. Locking your possessions away is not just about security. It's a necessary measure to prevent your personal space from becoming a portal for something sinister. The 12th rule reads, do not trust the clocks. The clocks in that school seem to have minds of their own. They tick erratically, sometimes stopping altogether or moving backward. Time itself appears to be distorted within these walls. Being unable to trust the clocks means that you can never be certain of the hour, and that uncertainty can lead to dread and confusion. It's as if time has a will of its own, and the school is a place where it can bend and twist to malevolent ends. Never enter the library after dark. Rule 13 advises. The library is vast, with shelves that seem to stretch into infinity. After dark, the atmosphere shifts dramatically. Books seem to whisper their contents, and shadows move with a life of their own. Strange, inexplicable things happen here, books falling off shelves, pages fluttering as if turned by unseen hands. The library holds dark knowledge, and entering it after dark can lead to encounters with entities that are best left undisturbed. The 14th rule, no loud noises, seems like a simple courtesy, but takes on a darker meaning in that school. Loud noises attract unwanted attention from the dark entities that inhabit the school. The walls have ears, and the echoes of a loud sound can summon things that lie in wait. The quiet is not just for peace, it's a crucial element for avoiding the malevolent forces that are drawn to disruption. Rule 15 states, beware of the whispers. Whispers are a constant presence in that school. They come from nowhere, carrying messages of dread and warnings of danger. The whispers seem to be everywhere, and listening too closely can draw you into their web. They can lead you astray, lure you into dangerous situations, or reveal truths that should remain hidden. Ignoring them might be your only chance of staying safe. The 16th rule, avoid the old gem, refers to a place that has fallen into disrepair and neglect. The gem is more than just a dusty room. It's a place where the energy is thick with unspoken fears. Old echoes of laughter and shouts can be heard, but there's something else, an oppressive presence that makes the gem a place to be avoided. The rule exists not just to keep you safe from physical dangers, but from the more intangible, malevolent forces that haunt the space. Rule 17 reads, never look behind you. In the corridors of that school, you're never truly alone. There's always a feeling of being watched, and the urge to glance behind you can be overwhelming. However, looking back can reveal things that are better left unseen. The more you look, the more you might catch a glimpse of something dark and unsettling, something that might follow you, or worse, become a part of you. Do not take photographs. Rule 18 warns, the school is a place where images can capture more than just the physical world. Photographs taken here have a tendency to show disturbing things, shadowy figures, grotesque distortions, and even glimpses of past tragedies. The act of capturing an image can draw attention from the entities that reside within the school, making you a target for their dark curiosity. The 19th rule, respect the grounds, may seem like a plea for good manners, but it has a more sinister implication. The grounds of that school are said to be a threshold between worlds. Disturbing the earth or altering the landscape could awaken forces that have been lying dormant. The school's grounds are a boundary that should not be crossed or tampered with, lest you invite the horrors that lurk beneath. Rule 20 is a stark reminder. Never enter the forbidden room. This room is locked away, its existence known only through hushed whispers and fearful glances. It's said to be a place of dark rituals and unspeakable horrors. Those who have attempted to breach its boundaries speak of terrible visions and the feeling of being pulled into a nightmarish realm. The room is forbidden for a reason. Some doors are best left unopened. Do not eat the food provided. Rule 21 might seem like an odd piece of advice, but it's crucial. The food served in that school has a disturbing reputation. It's often tainted or contaminated in ways that can't be seen or tasted, but affect the mind and body in horrific ways. Consuming it might lead to madness or a physical transformation that aligns you with the school's darker elements. The 22nd rule, keep all lights on, highlights an essential safety measure. Darkness in that school is not just the absence of light, but a living, breathing entity that can wrap around you, suffocating and disorienting. Keeping the lights on wards off the shadows and helps maintain a semblance of normalcy. When lights go out, the darkness reveals its true form, and it's not something you want to face alone. Do not make eye contact, reads the 23rd rule. This seemingly odd instruction has its roots in a deep-seated fear. Eye contact with the entities within that school can create a connection, drawing their attention and potentially inviting them into your personal space. The creatures lurking in the shadows are drawn to the gaze, and what starts with a mere glance can end in something far more horrific. Rule 24 reads, don't engage with the other staff. The other staff members may seem like colleagues, but they often have their own hidden agendas and dark secrets. Engaging with them might lead you to uncover truths that are better left buried. The school is a place where appearances can be deceiving and alliances can quickly turn into traps. The 25th rule advises, never use the old phones. The phones in that school are relics from another era, their lines seemingly connected to realms beyond human understanding. Using them can result in disturbing experiences, hearing voices from the past, or worse, receiving calls from entities that should not exist. The phones are a conduit for the school's dark forces, and using them is a risk you shouldn't take. Don't approach the old oak tree. Rule 26 wands. This tree stands as a gnarled sentinel on the school grounds, its branches twisted into grotesque shapes. It's said to be the focal point of dark rituals and a meeting place for sinister entities. Approaching it could lead to being drawn into its dark influence, with consequences that could haunt you for the rest of your life. The 27th rule states, avoid the school's history. The history of that school is shrouded in mystery and darkness. Delving too deeply into its past can uncover horrors that are better left unknown. The school's history is filled with tragedies, disappearances, and unsolved mysteries, knowledge that might draw you into a web of fear and danger. Do not trust the hall monitors, reads Rule 28. These seemingly benign figures are more than they appear. They are the eyes and ears of the school, and their loyalty is to the dark forces that govern it. Trusting them can lead to dangerous situations, and they may guide you into traps or betray you at the worst possible moment. The 29th rule warns, avoid the boiler room. The boiler room is a place of intense heat and darkness, where the machinery hums with an unnatural rhythm. It's said to be a hot spot for the school's dark activities, and the air is filled with an oppressive energy that can drive a person mad. Entering the boiler room is an invitation to experience the school's dark side up close. Rule 30 reads, never follow the sound of crying. Crying is a frequent sound in that school, often heard in the dead of night. It's a lure, a deceptive call meant to draw you into danger. The crying could be a trap set by the school's dark entities to lure unsuspecting victims into their grasp. Do not use the stairwells. The 31st rule advises, the stairwells are narrow, winding passages that seem to shift and change as you use them. They can lead you to places that don't exist on any map, and the stairs themselves seem to have a malevolent will. Using them might lead to encounters with entities or situations that are best avoided. The 32nd rule is a cryptic warning. Beware the red lights. Red lights in that school are not mere lighting fixtures. They are signals of impending danger. When these lights flicker or glow, something is amiss. They often indicate the presence of dark forces or impending events that should be avoided at all costs. Avoid the mirrors in the gym. reads Rule 33. The mirrors here are not just for checking your appearance, they're portals to other realms. They reflect more than just your image and can show glimpses of terrifying entities or alternate dimensions. Avoiding them is crucial to keeping yourself safe from whatever lurks beyond their reflective surface. The 34th rule warns, do not go near the music room. The music room is a place of eerie silence and unsettling sounds. Instruments play themselves, and disembodied music often fills the air. The room is a focal point for supernatural occurrences and should be avoided to prevent disturbing the restless spirits that reside within. Rule 35 reads, never trust the janitors. The janitors seem like ordinary staff members, but they have a dark role in the school. They are often seen performing strange rituals or dealing with mysterious objects. Their true purpose is unknown, but their presence is a sign that something sinister is afoot. Don't speak in the hallways, Rule 36 cautions. Speaking in the hallways can attract unwanted attention from the entities that dwell in the school's shadows. The hallways are a place where sounds carry and can awaken or disturb whatever lurks in the darkness. Silence is your best defense against the malevolent forces that inhabit the school. The 37th rule advises, avoid the school's garden. The garden is overgrown and filled with plants that seem to have a life of their own. It's a place where the natural world intertwines with the supernatural. Entering it can lead to encounters with dark entities or experiences that defy explanation. Rule 38 reads, do not touch the artifacts. The school has various artifacts displayed throughout its halls, each with its own dark history. Touching them can result in a transfer of their dark energy, leading to unsettling experiences or visions. The artifacts are best left undisturbed to avoid the curses and influences they carry. Never try to leave through the main entrance, reads Rule 39. The main entrance of that school is not a safe exit. Attempts to leave through it often result in encountering barriers or supernatural forces that prevent escape. The entrance is a gateway to the school's darker elements and should be avoided if you value your safety. The 40th rule states, avoid the nurse's office. The nurse's office is a place of strange occurrences and unsettling phenomena. It is filled with old medical equipment and artifacts that seem to have a life of their own. The office is a nexus for the school's dark influences and should be avoided to prevent unwanted encounters. Do not investigate the anomalies. The 41st rule warns, anomalies are strange, unexplained occurrences within the school. Shifts in temperature, unexplained noises, or bizarre visual phenomena. Investigating them can lead to dangerous situations or encounters with entities that are best left undisturbed. The 42nd rule reads, avoid the school's archives. The archives are filled with old records and documents, many of which are imbued with dark knowledge. Delving into them can reveal disturbing truths or unleash forces that should remain hidden. The archives are a repository of the school's darkest secrets. Do not use the elevators, advises Rule 43. The elevators are old and unreliable, often malfunctioning or stopping at floors that don't exist. Using them can lead to encounters with supernatural entities or transportation to places that are best left unexplored. The 44th rule warns, never walk on the grass. The grass on the school grounds is not just a surface, it's a barrier that hides darker elements beneath. Walking on it can trigger unseen forces or disturb entities that lie hidden. The grass serves as a protective layer between the mundane and the supernatural. Rule 45 reads, "Do not engage with the ghostly figures." Ghostly figures often appear in the school's corridors and rooms, their forms shifting and fading. Engaging with them can lead to disturbing experiences or draw their attention to you. The figures are best observed from a distance and avoid to ensure your safety. Never enter the art room after hours. The 46th rule advises, the art room is a place where creativity turns into something darker. Entering it after hours can result in being trapped in its nightmarish realm. Rule 47 states, avoid the old gymnasium locker rooms. The locker rooms are filled with echoes of past events and dark energy. They are a place where old fears and phantoms linger, making them a dangerous place to explore. The locker rooms are better left undisturbed to avoid disturbing the lingering spirits. The 48th rule reads, never follow the shadows. Shadows in that school have a life of their own, often moving independently of their sources. Following them can lead to being lost in the school's dark corners or encountering entities that thrive in the darkness. Shadows are deceptive and can lead you into danger. Rule 49 advises, do not investigate the strange sounds. Strange sounds often emanate from within the school, carrying eerie and unsettling qualities. Investigating them can lead to encountering the malevolent forces that produce these sounds or drawing unwanted attention. The sounds are best ignored to avoid the dangers they might herald. Until next time, thank you.